Since its release in 1976, boxing drama feature Rocky has spawned a franchise of 8 films spanning over 40 years. Yes, these installments and many other features are a testimony to how much we love watching a good fight, and the recent arrival of Creed 2 is evidence that our love of boxing fights on screen isn't slowing down. So here's our countdown of the top 6 movie boxing fights to have graced the big screen so far.
Logic tells you that in the casting of this fight, Escobar is the superior boxer, Billy Hope, the more physical brawler.
Number 6. Southpaw. Billy Hope vs Miguel Escobar. After the murder of his wife, a suicide attempt, losing custody of his daughter, and finding his boxing career in tatters, Billy Hope is at rock bottom. Yet a chance to turn his life back around arises when pitched against opponent Miguel Escobar, the man who set the wheels in motion for Billy's tragic life events. With a vendetta against Miguel and the opportunity for a form of revenge, the fight between Billy and Miguel has higher stakes than money. The fight itself is raw and chaotic, with rough camera work and brawling noise creating a fast-paced and intense environment. The intermittent use of a first-person camera perspective brings us right into the centre of the action and invites the audience to truly partake in Billy's experience as he fights for a chance to redeem himself. Combined with this are intercut sequences of Billy's coach, Tick, and his daughter, Layla, cheering him on, reminding us of how much rides on the outcome. Overall, the fight feels as exhausting and thrilling to watch as if we were there throwing some punches ourselves.
In this corner, the challenger, Maggie Fitzgerald, in the red corner. In the blue corner, the WBA welterweight champion of the world, Billy the Blue Bear.
Number 5. $1 Million Baby, Maggie Fitzgerald vs Billy Osterman. Hilary Swank won her second Oscar for her role as Maggie in $1 Million Baby, a true underdog story about a 33-year-old woman who decides to pursue a belated career in boxing. But $1 Million Baby is not your typical rise to fame story, and it is, perhaps undoubtedly, the best example of a female-orientated boxing movie. It is a fight that truly takes you through the motions. 1 minute we are watching the protagonist Millie being pummeled by Billy's foul play, creating feelings of indignation. The next we see Maggie begin to fight back against the odds and win over her competitor, provoking the triumph that often comes as the bread and butter of boxing fights in movies. It is more shocking then that this fight takes such an unexpected turn when an illegal punch from a frustrated Billy knocks Maggie onto an unfortunately placed chair and brings about a sudden and very chilling end to Maggie's career. Resulting in a heartbreaking end, $1 Million Baby wasn't scared to give us a fight without a Hollywood ending. We're not crying, you're crying.
I must break you.
Number 4. Rocky IV, Rocky Balboa vs Ivan Drago. Speaking of Hollywood endings, boxing fight finales don't come much more God bless America than the triumphant victory of Rocky Balboa over Russian boxing baddie Ivan Drago. Much like Southpaw, this fight is an opportunity for revenge after Drago mercilessly and unapologetically killed Rocky's best friend Apollo Creed in an earlier fight. Knowing Drago is capable of killing someone, the tension is raised to new heights when at the start of the fight he dominates Rocky, taunting him and inviting him to try harder for the first round. Adding to this pressure are the hostile Soviet spectators who seemingly prefer screaming insults in a sweaty crowd to spending their Christmas day with their families. But in a true visual David and Goliath moment, Rocky turns the fight around. Some classic pumped-up Rocky music and a montage later, he also wins over the hearts of the Soviet crowd. Aww. Number 3. Raging Bull, Jake LaMotta vs Sugar Ray Robinson. After a boxing movie that ends in a traditional moment of triumph, the final fight between Jake LaMotta and Sugar Ray Robinson in Raging Bull could not be more different. This fight is the third time the opponents have faced each other in the film. Since their last bout, which was questionably won by Robinson, LaMotta has, like many of the boxers on this list, had a run of bad experiences and has recently become estranged from his brother. This final defeat, resulting in the loss of his title, is not the peak of the film, but rather a morbid representation of the protagonist hitting rock bottom. In a sequence which is highly stylised compared to many of the fights on this list, with undulating sound, slow motion sequences, and copious amounts of saliva and blood, this boxing fight isn't a glamorous feat, but a raw and painful expression of a man who has lost everything. In fact, this boxing fight for LaMotta is about everything but the fight. The artistic way in which the fight is shot and the unnerving image of the blood on the ropes at the end clearly mark this battle as a deeper study of what it means to be truly defeated, both inside and out.
Touch them up, be ready on seconds out.
Right. It's about you.
Yep, it's all about you.
Now, you wanted this?
Let's go, Coach.
I want you to make it happen. I want you to make it happen. You do it?
Let's do it.
All right.
Let's make it happen. Let's go up.
Creed. Adonis Creed versus Leo Sparino. 40 years after Apollo Creed and Rocky's first fight in the original Rocky feature, a new installment, Creed, hit the big screen to follow the story of Creed's illegitimate son. Trying to overcome his criminal past, Apollo's son Adonis, or Donnie Creed, finds an insatiable pull towards his father's legacy, as he has seemingly inherited his skills in the ring. With Rocky himself coming on board to coach him, the film has just the right levels of fresh material and nostalgia for its franchise. What results is a rare cinematic fight, all shot in just one cut with exemplary choreography. And all the while, Michael B. Jordan is still giving sassy bits of dialogue. Whilst it is a marvel that they even managed to shoot the scene so seamlessly, it is simply a joy to watch. And whilst it might not be the most dramatic fight on this list, or even in the film, the beauty of the sequence makes this fight a top contender on our list.
You boys both fought in Philadelphia before, and you know the rules. We'll have no low blows. Watch your heads, no button. Shake hands now. Come out fighting.
Put your hands up there, chump.
Come out fighting.
Come on.
No mind play going on there. Rocky just taking it carefully, though. He's just going over and being calm, it looks like from here.
Number 1. Rocky. Rocky Balboa vs Apollo Creed. Without the original Rocky movie, it is hard to imagine how any of these boxing fights on this list would have looked. What's more, the friendship between Rocky Balboa and Apollo Creed, that provided the backbone of further Rocky and Creed films, began in the notorious final fight between the two boxers. The fight is a culmination of the core values of hard work and determination at the heart of the Rocky films and franchise. Despite not winning the fight, Rocky's the first man to knock down Creed, and from that moment on, there is a mutual respect between the two fighters, who thrash out 15 evenly matched rounds, sustaining horrendous injuries and fighting to the verge of complete exhaustion. And if anything, it is refreshing that this match wasn't about vendettas, redemption, or self-destruction, but an appreciation of grit, determination, and the sport in its pure form. Plus, Rocky doesn't seem to care if he's won or not, because he gets the girl.
Rocky!
You heard him, ladies and gentlemen.
Rocky! Rocky!
Hey, where's your hat?
I love you!
I love you. I love you.
I love you! I love you!
Well, there you have it. 6 movie boxing fights across over 4 decades we think might be worth your time. Are there any other fights you would add to the list? Comment below. And don't forget to like and subscribe.